All right, you asshats, welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're going to dive headfirst into some seriously mind-bending shit. Mayan numerals. I mean, most of us struggle to count past 10 fingers after a few beers, but these ancient dudes were rocking a whole different system based on the number 20. What the fuck is up with that?
Did they have extra toes or something?
Thankfully, no extra toes. But yeah, the Maya were working with a vigesimal system, meaning it's based on 20. It might seem weird to us, but it was actually pretty common in ancient cultures.
Okay, cut the crap. Let's get down to brass tacks. How the hell did these Mayan dudes actually count? Teach us how to count like a goddamn shaman or whatever.
Well, the basics are surprisingly simple. They only use 3 symbols: a shell for 0, a dot for 1, and a bar for 5.
Hang on, are you telling me they built this whole badass civilization using what basically amounts to a preschool art project?
Think of it like building blocks. Simple on their own, but capable of some seriously complex structures. Okay, I'll bite. So how do you get to the big numbers with just these dots and bars? Do you just keep drawing them till your hand cramps up?
Not quite. Once you get past 19, they stack the symbols vertically. Imagine it like building a numeric skyscraper, with each level representing a power of 20.
A freaking number skyscraper.
Yeah.
That's actually pretty rad. So walk us through it. How would you write, say, the number 13?
Easy peasy. You'd put 3 dots over 2 bars. The bottom 2 bars represent 10, and the 3 dots on top make it 13.
All right, I'm following so far. But what about a bigger number, like 33? Does the skyscraper start getting taller?
You got it. For 33, you'd have 1 dot on the top level, representing 20. Then on the level below, 3 dots on top of 2 bars, just like we did for 13. Boom, 33.
Okay, so they were basically stacking these numbers like a Jenga tower. Pretty clever if you ask me. But wait, there's more, right? You mentioned something about face glyphs. Don't tell me they were drawing little Mayan faces for every number.
Well, not for every number, but sometimes they'd use face glyphs to represent numbers, and each face was linked to a specific deity.
Hold up. So they were basically saying that the number 69 is represented by the god of what orgies?
Hey, that's up to your interpretation. But the point is they connected numbers to their deities, giving them a deeper, more symbolic meaning.
Right. I'll admit that's pretty damn cool. But let's talk about 0 for a second. I heard these guys had a serious hard-on for the concept of nothingness.
They did indeed. And get this, they had multiple ways of writing 0 in the Dresden Codex, one of the few surviving Mayan books. Sometimes it looks like a shell, other times like a bread loaf.
A bread loaf? Were they high or something?
Maybe they just really liked carbs. But the bread loaf 0 is still a bit of a mystery. Nobody knows for sure what it signifies.
So we've got dots, bars, freaking face glyphs, and bread loaves. This is getting more complex than I thought. But adding and subtracting must have been a piece of cake, right? Just stacking and unstacking these symbols.
You're catching on quick. Adding and subtracting below 20 is actually pretty straightforward. You just combine the dots and bars, swapping 5 dots for a bar and 4 bars for a dot in the higher row when needed. Subtraction works the same way, just in reverse.
So you're telling me that even my booze-addled brain could handle basic Mayan math? That's a scary thought. But what about the whole calendar thing? Wasn't that where things got really fucked up?
Ah, yes. The infamous Mayan calendar. Now that's where things get really interesting. It's not so much fucked up as it is intricate. Remember how we talked about the Maya being obsessed with cycles? Well, their calendar was all about tracking these cycles, not just for days, but for vast stretches of time, like epochs.
Epochs. Sounds like some fancy pants bullshit to me. Just tell us how the damn thing worked. I'm all ears, even if my brain feels like it's melting after all this number talk.
All right, keep your shirt on. Picture a giant cosmic clock with a bunch of gears, each one representing a different time period. The smallest gear is the kin, which is just a single day. Then you've got the winal, a 20-day period. Makes sense so far, right? 20 fingers, 20 days.
Yeah, even I can follow that. But I have a feeling you're about to drop some serious mindfuckery on us. Let's hear it.
Oh, you know me too well. So the third gear is where things get spicy. It's called the ton. And based on their vigesimal system, it should be 400 days, right? But nope. Those crafty bastards decided to make it 360 days instead.
What the fuck? Why would they mess with a system like that? Were they just trying to fuck with future archaeologists?
Probably. But there's actually a method to their madness. Remember how I said they were obsessed with cycles? Well, 360 days is closer to a solar year. And it also plays nicely with their weird fascination with the number 18.
18? What the hell is so special about 18?
Get this. They love to multiply 20 by 18. So the fourth gear in their calendar clock, called the Katun, is 7,200 days long, which is just 20 times 360. And the next gear up, the back tune, is a whopping 144,000 days, or 20 times 7,200.
Holy shit, that's a lot of days to keep track of. My head is spinning just thinking about it. So basically, they were playing calendar Tetris with all these different cycles, trying to fit them all together.
That's a pretty good analogy, actually. They were masters of time, tracking everything from the movements of the planets to the reigns of their kings, all using this intricate system.
And they carved all this shit into stone, right? I mean, they didn't exactly have iPhones back then to keep track of their schedules.
But got it. They left us these incredible monuments covered in glyphs, telling stories, recording dates, and basically flexing their mathematical muscles for all eternity.
Imagine trying to explain this whole calendar system to someone who can barely tell time on a digital clock.
Yeah.
They'd probably think you were some kind of sorcerer or something.
Yeah. Well, the Maya were pretty damn close to sorcerers in my book. They had a deep understanding of astronomy, mathematics, and engineering, all without the fancy tools we have today.
It's kind of mind-blowing when you think about it. I mean, these guys were building pyramids while our ancestors were still shitting in caves and running away from saber-toothed cats.
It definitely puts things into perspective, doesn't it?
Right.
We tend to think of ancient cultures as primitive, but the Maya were light years ahead of their time in many ways. Their numeral system and calendar are just two examples of their incredible ingenuity and their deep connection to the universe.
I'm starting to see why you're so fascinated by these guys. They were basically rock stars of the ancient world. But speaking of rock stars, didn't you mention something about Mayan numerals being used in modern technology? That sounds like some serious bullshit to me.
Well, yeah, that's right. You wouldn't believe this. But they actually have a place in Unicode, the system that makes all our digital symbols work.
Hold the fucking phone. Are you telling me that somewhere out there some tech-savvy hipster is texting his buddies using Mayan glyphs? Get the fuck out of here.
Hey, stranger things have happened. Maybe it's the next big trend. Mayan emojis. Anyone.
Mayan emojis. Now, that's a terrifying thought. But you know what's even more terrifying? The thought of having to actually learn how to use these Mayan numerals in real life? I think I'll stick to my trusty Arabic numerals. Thank you very much.
Fair enough. But hey, at least now you can appreciate the sheer brilliance of the Maya and their mind-bending mathematical system. It's a legacy that continues to fascinate and inspire us even thousands of years later.
All right, I'll give you that. But you know what I'm still curious about? Those damn face glyphs. I'm still dying to know what kind of deity they would have used to represent the number 69.
You're really not going to let that go, are you? All right, fine. Let's indulge your juvenile curiosity for a moment. Well, if we're talking 69, we're probably looking at a deity associated with duality, fertility, or maybe even a bit of mischief. Think of a god who embodies both creation and destruction, light and darkness, masculine and feminine.
So basically a god who enjoys a good time? I could dig it. But seriously, though, all this talk about Mayan numerals and their calendars got me thinking, what if we could actually travel back in time and show these guys our modern math? Would they even be impressed?
That's a fascinating question. Imagine rocking up to one of their ancient cities, all decked out in our modern threads, flashing our smartphones and calculators. Think we'd blow their minds.
Honestly, I doubt it. These guys were building goddamn pyramids while our ancestors were still figuring out how to use fire. They might take one look at our decimal system and be like,
Yeah.
What is this weak-ass shit?
They'd probably be all, where's the elegance? Where's the connection to the cosmos? We'd be standing there trying to explain the concept of zero to people who already had multiple representations for it, including a frickin' bread loaf. Talk about embarrassing.
They'd probably challenge us to a math off using their crazy system of dots, bars, and face glyphs. We'd get our asses handed to us.
It's a humbling thought, isn't it? We often think of ourselves as the pinnacle of civilization, but the Maya were doing some seriously advanced shit thousands of years ago. Their numeral system is a testament to their ingenuity, their spiritual depth, and their sheer intellectual power.
So what you're saying is we should ditch our iPhones, start carving numbers into stone, and pray to the Mayan gods of mathematics.
Not quite, but we should definitely respect their achievements and recognize that there are different ways of understanding the world, different ways of counting, different ways of thinking. The Maya remind us that sometimes the simplest systems can be the most powerful, and that true brilliance often lies in connecting with something bigger than ourselves, whether it's the cosmos, the cycles of nature, or even a goddamn bread loaf.
Deep shit, man. Deep shit. But hey, enough with the existential crisis for one day. My brain is officially fried. I need a beer and a nap.
Sounds like a plan. Let's leave our listeners with this final thought. The next time you're struggling to balance your checkbook or figure out a tip, just remember the Maya. They were calculating the movements of the heavens and the cycles of time using a system based on the number 20. Makes your math problems seem a little less daunting, doesn't it?
You got that right. All right, you beautiful bastards. That's a wrap for another deep dive. Tune in next time for more mind-blowing shit that will make you question everything you thought you knew. Until then, stay curious, stay thirsty. And don't forget to count your blessings. In Mayan numerals, of course,